Before I go into this video, please note that I am not here to discourage or encourage anyone to do or not to do anything related to the information provided. I am not here to change anyone's beliefs, perspectives, opinions, or ideas about the information provided in this video. What you think or feel about this video is completely determined only by you. Just know the information given is totally up to you to accept or not accept. This is for educational purposes only. Thank you for your time. The subject I'm going to speak on today is called zoonotic disease. What is zoonotic disease? Or should I say zoonosis, which is another way of saying it. Zoonotic disease is also called zoonosis, or illnesses caused by germs that are passed between animals and people. Put simply, zoonotic disease is one that originates in animals and can cause diseases in humans. Zoonotic disease are prevalent throughout the world. They can be caused by viruses, bacteria, parasites, or fungi, and may cause mild or severe illness or death. Experts estimate that about 60% of known infectious diseases in people can be spread by animals, and 3 out of every 4 new diseases in people originated in animals, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, aka the CDC. Well, how is zoonotic disease transmitted in the first place? Well, according to the study, direct contact with animals is the easiest way for diseases to spread from animals to humans, such as through petting, handling, or getting bitten or scratched by an animal. People who work in the livestock industry or in animal care industries are most susceptible to exposure to zoonotic disease because they're often in direct contact with animals. Domestic pets can also be direct source of exposure, as can wild animals that come in contact with hunters. Spending time in areas where animals live can lead to indirect exposures to zoonotic disease agents through contact with water or surfaces that infected animals have also come in contact with. Some zoonotic germs can even contaminate the air we breathe. Hantaviruses, for instance, are a family of viruses spread by rodents, but rarely through direct contact. Instead, the viruses are more often spread in aerosolized bits of rodents' infected fecal matter. For example, people sweeping out their sheds after a long period of time may inhale dust contaminated with infected fecal particles from mice. Zoonotic disease can also be transferred from animals to humans through insects that act as a middleman or vectors for the disease-causing agent. Ticks, for example, transfer blood-borne pathogens such as the bacteria that causes Lyme disease from an infected animal to other animals and humans, according to the Global Lyme Alliance. Mosquitoes and fleas are also common vectors for zoonotic disease, such as the Zika virus, transmitted by mosquitoes, and the bacterium that causes plague, transmitted by fleas. So what does all this really mean at the end of the day? Well, let's do a little digging first. Let's go back to history before we get into the big questions. Well, according to studies, significant data shows that the first pet was known somewhere in the Middle East, and archaeology suggests that the human ownership of dogs as pets may date back to at least 12,000 years ago. Also, ancient Greeks and Romans will openly grieve for the loss of their dogs, evidenced by inscriptions left on tombstones for their loss. Throughout the 17th and 18th century, pet keeping in the modern sense gradually became accepted throughout Britain. Initially, aristocrats kept dogs for both companionship and hunting. Thus, pet keeping was a sign of elitism within society. By the 19th century, the rise of the middle class stimulated the development of pet keeping and became the inscribed within the capital culture. So now that we got through history, the question is, why do we have pets again? Well, according to study, pets might have the ability to stimulate their caregivers, and particularly the elderly, giving people someone to take care of, someone to exercise with, and someone to help them heal from a physically or psychologically troubled past. Animal company can also help people to preserve accepted levels of happiness despite the presence of mood symptoms like anxiety and depression. According to NIH.gov, about 14 to 62% of pet owners allow their pets to their bedrooms, which could enhance the emergence of zoonosis. Companion and pet animals have increased over the past several decades, but they are also a comprehensive source of disease producing agents. The increased popularity of pets and companion animals has put human health at risk due to the possible spread of infections. In many houses nowadays, pets of exotic species are kept along with common pets. Therefore, huge people are at risk of acquiring new zoonotic disease from pets, companion animals, and exotic birds and animals. And this is all coming from the government site. Now, I know the next thing people will obviously say is, well, that's the reason why you get your pet vaccinated, so you wouldn't get anything, right? Well, there's more to that also. Let's start with puppies and kittens, since most pet owners in the US owns dogs and cats. According to the NIH.gov, under the article of current vaccination strategies in puppies and kittens, it basically states that there are multiple different vaccines for puppies and kittens, and that these vaccines does protect humans from receiving viruses and diseases from their pets, and that it is recommended that puppies at 6 to 9 weeks of age continues to receiving serial vaccines every 3 to 4 weeks until the puppy has reached 14 to 16 weeks for the virus containing the vaccines has finally immune to the pup. Kittens, on the other hand, do not need the same number of vaccinations. Just to sum it all up, basically, you're going to have to continue vaccinating your pet, making sure you don't catch anything. But not every vaccination is used for the same reason, which means you have to know which ones are actually for the specific pet, which also means that you still can possibly get sick and not even know it. A common cold that you had last night could have been from your pet and you wouldn't even have known it. This is why it's very serious to take care of your environment and your hygiene and most definitely your pet. But Scholar G, us humans, we get vaccinated too. Yeah, that is true. However, a lot of people avoid vaccine shots for personal reasons or personal beliefs or religious beliefs. A lot of people have lived just normally fine without vaccinations. So the next question is vaccinating animals unethical? Should animals be able to be free and not have to be a human's personal therapy and put up for vaccination? If we didn't have pets in the first place, we wouldn't have to worry about bacteria, pathogens, and viruses and fungi in the way we do now. If studies show 60% to 70% of viruses and diseases come from animals' interactions, does that mean we're better without animals in our homes? And that we as human beings need to be more closer to those who look like us, like family and friends? And if we need therapy, shouldn't we just go to a therapist for ourselves? Also, what about the food? Majority of humans are not vegetarians or vegans. According to statistics, approximately only 14% of the world population do not eat animal flesh. Does that mean that even the foods we eat from animals also cause most of our sickness? That would be another topic for another video. But in the meantime, take some time to think about it. The links to the sources I mentioned in this video will be in the description. Please subscribe. And just know, if you're a pet owner, this is not to offend you. This is just information I'm announcing.